Good afternoon. This is a hearing of the Chatham Conservation Commission being held on April 24th, 2024, in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and the Town of Chatham Wetlands Protection Bylaw and Regulations. My name's Janet Williams and I serve as the chair. Today's hearing is being broadcast live on Channel 8 and is being recorded for the on-demand archives available on the town's website. It's being conducted in person, by phone, and by video conference. So the agenda, instructions on how to attend, and copies of documents available for review have all been posted on the town website. To all participants, whether you're attending by phone or online, please remain muted unless you've been recognized by the chair. If you're attending by phone, you can mute and unmute by using *6. If you're online and you're not a commissioner, we ask that you please keep your camera turned off until you've been recognized. You can indicate that you wish to speak by using the raised hand feature. And when you are recognized, please remember to identify yourself for the record before starting your comments or asking your question. So that we have a record of a quorum attending today, I'll now ask each commission member to indicate their presence. Vice Chair Karen Lattin.
Present.
Bob Rawls.
Present.
Mary Sullivan is absent today. Elise Gordon.
Present.
Cheryl Maservi.
Present.
Eric Hilbert.
Present.
Bob Delvecchio.
Present.
We have established that we have a quorum. Before we start and ask our conservation agent about any continuances, I just want to pause for a moment and share the good news that the town of Chatham has appointed and has now started our first wetlands permit coordinator who began work this week. And so we are beyond thrilled that Crystal Keon has accepted this good, well-deserved promotion. So congratulations, Crystal, and for everybody who's going to have permit applications, you're going to have to deal with Crystal. So be nice to her. So that's very good news. Before we begin, Paul Whiteman, our conservation agent, do we have any requests for continuances today?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Commissioners. We do have two requests. The first one will be the airport. I'll read that legal ad when we get to it quickly. Okay. That will be continued to May 8th,
okay,
2024. And we just received a request for a continuance to May 8th, 2024 for 70 Meadowview Road South.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. So if you're here for either of those, they are not going to be heard today. And with that, Paul will lead us through today's agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say, Mr. Tundren, is it? Your camera's on and you're taking up half the screen, so I don't know if you can hear me. It looks like he's muted.
He is, but he's reacting, so it looks like he's
okay.
Looking for the
All
button
right.
to turn
Well,
off the, looking for the, where's the video off button?
Okay, well, let's proceed.
Okay.
First on the agenda is a request for an order of conditions. The address is 16 Seapine Road, Edward F. Acton, map 11L, parcel 2-HC3, SE10 3673. Proposed project, raise existing dwelling, construct new house and detached garage and pool, patio, and a land management plan. That's the project.
Okay, thank you. So we've had a copy of the draft order available. Some people have already added some changes, and we accepted all those yesterday, so the version that was posted on MyTownGov was the most up-to-date. There is, and I think I'll ask Bob about this, there are some items that are highlighted, which indicates that things that you have questions about or things that we need to clarify today.
Yeah, when I drafted this, we didn't have what I now see as the updated coverage table. So
Okay.
I believe that the number that's in there is correct.
3325 square feet in the outer aura?
Yeah.
Okay. Take that out. Is that in there? So, and that accounts for 44.3%?
That part, I just had in my notes, and maybe Thad can confirm that percentage number.
Thad Eldridge, Southeast, confirmed, 44.3% in the outer aura.
Thank you.
And then in the special conditions, I added the word restoration to mitigation because there was no mitigation offered. but restoration was offered as mitigation, and so it seemed appropriate to modify our standard conditions for mitigation to include restoration, since it isn't technically
Yep.
mitigation.
Yeah, we do that. I mean, that comes up sometimes, and I have the same reaction when I look at it and try to add the word restoration, so, yeah, I'm going to accept all of that. All right, any questions or comments from commission members?
Nope, I think you
No?
got it.
Okay, Thad, anything from the applicant's side on this one?
We were good.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else online or on the phone or in the room here have anything they want to say about this order? Hearing none, I'm accepting all changes, and I'll take a motion to,
I move that we
Close
close and approve the order of conditions for 16 Sea Pine Road.
Gordon, second.
Obviously still away.
roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's unanimous for everyone here. All right, thank you, Thad.
Thank you.
All right, Paul, where do we go next?
Okay, next on the agenda, Madam Chair, 62 Chase Street, Cara Manganoni, map 16C, parcel 54C7, DEP number SE10 3667. Project is expansion of existing deck and relocate and replace a generator. This is a request for an order of conditions.
Okay, thank you. Same deal with this one. It's been available. It was posted on MyTownGov. The copy I have has a couple of typo corrections. And a new special condition has been added. I'm not sure if this is in the copy that was posted. Special condition 4, the existing lawn in the NDZ between the mitigation area and the eastern property line will be allowed to naturalize. And
Anybody here for them? Because that was from my notes, and I just wanted to get confirmation that that was the understanding.
I had that down as well,
Okay.
so I think it is correct.
right, no more mowing, that's
I
right.
had that
Right.
down to
Yep,
add it.
Yep, that's fine, okay. Other commission members, questions, comments, concerns about this? Anybody online on the platform? Hearing none, let's take a motion to close this one.
I move we close the hearing and approve the order of conditions for 62 Chase Street.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's approved. And the last one, Paul?
Last one on the agenda, Madam Chair, 414 Fox Hill Road, Christopher LaCroix, map 11M, parcel 5-2, DEP number SE10 3652. Project is proposed dock replacement.
Good afternoon. Cole Bateman is the principal person here.
Okay,
He's online. I have a couple of comments.
all right, well, why don't you go ahead and take it and fire away.
Under the construction paragraphs, paragraph 10, page 11J, talks about stormwater controls and things like it's a house. It just seems inappropriate.
Under construction.
No. Paragraph 10, do you know which section, standard pre-construction? Oh,
Yeah.
construction,
No, it's construction.
okay.
Runoff from proposed hardscape areas, roof runoff.
Got it, I see it, okay. Well, you know that all of these general condition sections start with the language that says they apply as applicable. So if it don't apply, it ain't applicable, but we'll take it out.
And then my old bugaboo there on the general.
Yeah, this is not anything in the, anywhere on the coastal bank it's not a house, so those provisions would not apply.
11 and 12, yeah.
Yep, yep. Okay, is that it for you?
That's it for me.
Cole?
Hi, good afternoon. Cole Bateman from Ty and Bond. I have just one comment or suggestion for the commission for special condition 3, regarding the treatment and the allowable treatments for the, excuse me, for the timber. It is written in the draft order, the support structure and the pilings, permanent and removable, will be constructed of treated wood, and then in parentheses it says CCA. I suggest that it be inclusive of MCA treatment as well, please. It's that's the treatment that is most commonly used for like the handrail components where CCA can't be in contact with human with hands. So like the handrail posts, for instance. Thank you.
So wait, so you're saying that MCA, and just because I'm not intimately familiar with these terms, what exactly what is it? Is it like the others, chromium or copper or arsenic?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. MCA does not contain arsenate.
Okay,
But it's a lesser treatment compared to CCA, but we need to use it for components of the pier here.
for the structural pieces, for the
For the
pilings.
railing? For the railings?
So
No, the
So
railings, the
the-
decking is going to be untreated natural timber,
Right,
and that would
The-
include the
the-
railing. We could add that.
the top rail, the decking, all of that will be non-treated
Right,
timber, but for the handrails themselves and the stringers, for the structural components, those would be MCA or CCA, please.
I see. So the vertical supports for the handrails is what you're talking about, that do not come into contact.
Correct. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, I'll make. And just out of curiosity, have you guys thought about or spec'd what the natural timber that you're going to be using on this is? We're just learning more about this these days.
I think we're there where most likely the client will be going with an eBay product.
Okay. Okay, that'll work. Okay, questions or comments from commission members?
nope.
Bob, you have something?
Did we mention anything about taking pre- and post photos of the marsh area?
But this has been there for over 50 years. We're just, the only reason we're getting an order of conditions is that it's never had an order of conditions, but there's been a pier there since 1933.
Yeah, you're going to have new construction taking place, though, correct?
Unknown caller.
No, we're just replacing what's there.
Hello?
Somebody needs to mute, please, who's on the platform. Taking a call. It's adjacent to the salt marsh. How far away is the salt marsh from the structure?
I mean, it's right
10
there.
feet, something? I think we could put in a requirement and ask you, once the construction is done, to submit photos of the completed, that include the salt marsh, so we can see that the salt marsh
Okay,
has
cool,
not
you got
been
that?
impacted? Okay,
Yeah, that'd be good, thank you.
okay.
And also, what about winter storage of the, is that in anything?
Yeah, I think it's off-site or.
Oh, yeah,
on
number
the-
16, yeah, I
yes.
see it. Okay, thank you.
All right, anybody else on the platform or on the phone? In the hearing room?
Maybe just touching on that last one, it's Cole from Time Bond. Off-site was mentioned just there, but we would believe it's appropriate to store the floats and the float materials in the parking area at the house. Would that be acceptable?
As long as that's an
that is
upland
con-
area, that's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on the upland side of the house.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, that's off the, all right, yep,
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
okay. Okay. There are no other questions or comments. Let's move forward and approve this.
Thank you very
I move that we
much.
close the hearing and approve the order of conditions for 414 Fox Hill Road.
Gordon second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's been approved. Thank you very much. Thank you, Cole. Thank you.
Thank
Attorney
you. Have
Riley.
a great day.
Thank you. All right, Paul, onward to the next matter on the agenda, which are two adjoined.
Two, yes.
Yeah.
The extension request, and I'd like to read these both together because the extensions dates are the same and it's the same, well, their addresses are next to each other.
Yep.
With your permission?
Yes.
Okay, 237 Woodland Way Nominee Trust, map 11K, parcel HC 48, SC 10 3487. Dwelling and restoration, extension request to monitor plantings and ensure that they have time to establish and mature. The order expires on 7/13/2024, so the extension will bring it to 7/13/2025.
Okay, thank you.
263 Woodland.
Oh, go ahead, sorry. Yep.
Yep, sorry. 263 Woodland Way Nominee Trust, map 11K, parcel HC 49, SC 10 3486. Dwelling, pool, and restoration. The extension is requested to monitor plantings and ensure they have that they have time to establish and mature. This order expires also on 7/13/2024, and the extension will take it to 7/13/2025.
All right, thank you. So, Paul, for either of these, this is their first request for an extension, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll note that the extension request actually did request two years extension, but we are unable to do that. We'll have to do 1 year, and then they can come back in 2025 and request a second year if they need it. We're happy to provide extensions usually for vegetation to continue to get itself established.
I have a question.
Yep,
Is
go
this-
ahead.
Is this the property that has the big fence in the front along the road? I couldn't even find these things. Okay, never mind.
Huh. I don't think so.
No, I don't remember that. I didn't go look though.
Okay. All right, so ready for a motion then for this?
I move that we approve a 1-year extension to July 13th, 2025 for the properties 237 Woodland Way and 263 Woodland Way.
Gordon second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's been approved. What's the next one then, Paul?
Next one is an extension request for 517 Stony Hill Road. Kate Earls, map 15I, parcel 21, DEP SE 10 3483. Project new dwelling and land management plan. It expires on May 7th, 2024. I don't have a reason for this one, but I assume it's regarding the establishment of the land management planting. So if you approve it, it'll take it out to May 7th, 2025.
Okay, there is a reference, it's not entirely clear, but in the request letter to ongoing invasive species management and restoration plantings. So I agree, that's what it's for. And there's been no other extension on this one, right?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay.
I move that we approve 517 Stony Hill Road for a 1-year extension to 5/7/2025.
Gordon second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's approved. All right. What is next on the agenda then, Paul?
Next on the agenda, Madam Chair, is a submitted request for a field change. The address is 63 Tappan Drive, Andy Baylor, map 8B, parcel T2, DEP SE 10 3574. Project demolish existing dwelling and reconstruct new dwelling, pool, and patio. The field change request is to include a previous paver walkway to connect their walkout to the pool steps to the deck and finish the area under the deck with gravel.
Okay, I could have sworn that Phil Cheney was sitting here a few minutes ago. That was bad timing.
Probably can continue without him.
Hi, I'm Lori Smith, one of the other owners with Amy.
Oh, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. All right, so can you just walk us through what the
Yep,
not
you
entirely
should,
clear.
you should have a letter from Phil
Yep.
and the plan, and we just discussed, we're almost done with the project, and we realized that our kids are gonna walk out the back of the basement onto dirt, and they're going to drag it into the pool. So we'd like to put gravel on the doors on the exit of the basement, and then have a few stepping pavers over to get to the pool. It's all underneath the deck.
This is all under the deck?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
so there's photographs, so that photograph of the, you can't see it,
So
it's
this
on
is,
my computer.
This is actually
Yeah.
the space we're talking about.
You gotta go back, you have to be on the microphone. Okay, we're gonna
That's the
have it,
space we're talking about.
okay, Bob's gonna share his screen in a second to show the picture. Was part of this, so part of this area under the deck had been slated for a walkway, and this is just extending it, or was?
We
none of-
actually, it was never, we
Oh,
forgot to put anything on there.
okay, okay.
So I don't want it to be dirt, and I don't think grass will grow underneath there. So
Nope.
if we could have just a little space in order to take them, and then the rest would be just seeded with the Cape Cod seeded mix.
Yep.
That was requested.
Okay. Anybody have questions?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I mean, it's excellent idea to put gravel under a deck. It's the only way to go.
Permeable, it drains quickly?
Yeah.
Yep. Bob? do you have-
Yeah, so when I went over there yesterday, gravel was already under the deck.
Yes, they did put it down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you want to have a walkway from the slider going towards the left to the pool.
To where the stairs come down from the pool?
Right.
Yes.
And that's going to be just slate or
I don't even think slate, but some of the, just the stepping stones over, nothing
Stepping
formal.
stones, yeah.
Just so the kids can get in and out.
And underneath that first landing, coming off the deck, down the stairs, underneath that first landing, there's a space.
Yep.
If you're gonna put a walkway, if you have any excess gravel, you could put that gravel underneath that first landing. There's a
Okay.
square there.
Yep. Yep. That's a good idea, actually. I didn't know if we were allowed to do that, given how close we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's bare right now, and there's some wood, actual wood in there too, some debris that has been thrown in there.
Yeah.
That will attract termites. You might want to get that out of there before you put the gravel down.
Yeah, they're supposed to be cleaning out all the construction stuff today.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Anybody else? All right, ready for a motion then.
I move that we approve the field change request for 63 Tappan Drive.
Gordon second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that's approved. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here at the right moment. All right, Paul, what is the next?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next on the agenda, we're now going to move to a request for determination of applicability. The address is 236 Stage Neck Road, Edward C. and Joyce H. Hugh, map 10B, parcels 8B, R-24-18. Project is remove 8 non-native trees and replant with native plants.
Okay, hello.
Hi, good afternoon. Teresa Sprague with Blue Flax Design here on behalf of Ed and Joyce Huff. Is their last name? Yep, nope, that's fine.
Terrible
So-
with names, Teresa.
No, that's a hard one. I made the mistake myself at
I never
first.
get them.
The proposal really is to remove 8 trees, although 5 of them are within jurisdictional area. 3 of them are just outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. These are existing cryptomeria, Japanese cryptomeria trees. They're right up against the existing patio. And when they were planted, I'm sure they were just a lovely sized tree that fit beautifully in this site next to this patio. And of course, now they've reached maturity and they've completely overgrown the area. As you know, Japanese cryptomeria get quite large. And they've started to grow into the patio area, covering up the little outdoor kitchen space. So we are proposing to remove those cryptomeria trees. They're just too big for the site. And to replant the area with American holly and 2 different size classes, 7 to 8 foot B&B and 8 to 10 foot. B&B, as well as plant a number of shrubs and native perennials, butterfly milkweed, agastache, and some switchgrass, Panicum virgatum, in this area. This is simply to plant something in here that's actually going to fit, and improving the area for habitat value by replacing a non-native tree with a native tree. I think Japanese cryptomerias are great. They're non-invasive. They don't cause any harm. In this case, they're just too big for the location.
Right tree in the wrong place.
Correct.
In some
Yes.
ways, yeah. No, it's, they are enormous.
Yes.
There's no doubt. They are big trees. And I like the hollies and the variation in the sizes, and that they will all grow to provide the screening from
Correct.
the neighbors there, and the shrubs are, all in all, an improvement.
Yes.
I would complain about lawn replacement, but that's out of our jurisdiction. But anyway, questions, concerns, comments?
Why are you only replacing with 4 trees when 5 are coming out in the jurisdiction?
Again, we're just trying to fit the right trees into the space and allow them to grow to their mature size without overcrowding each other. And we were hoping that by planting additional native shrubs and perennials and grasses, that would offset that additional tree. We just couldn't fit 5 trees into the
I get it.
location.
How do we feel? That's it.
Okay.
Well, unaccustomed as I am to being a contrarian, I think they're beautiful trees. I know that they're not native, and they, to me, if I had those trees, and this is my picture that I took, I would keep them, just because I think they're beautiful, and they're not too big for the space in my view, but it's also, that's a subjective opinion.
Right.
So, anyway, that's the way they struck me when I looked at them. I saw no reason to take out those quite beautiful, mature trees. Anyway, that's just me.
I do think they have been cutting them back, and they haven't actually reached mature size yet, so they're going to continue to get larger. So I think that's why they just don't want to cut them back anymore. They don't want them to get any bigger than they are. But I agree with you. They're beautiful trees. Japanese cryptomeria are great trees, and they really withstand some harsh site conditions, even when some of our native cedars do not. Japanese cryptomeria do stand up to harsh salt and wind conditions.
I don't think they're going to be happy when those are gone. Anyway,
They'll have to
Yeah,
make
they
that
are
determination.
providing tremendous screening, not only from the view, but from wind and from other things, but, yeah.
I understand your
Yeah, yeah.
concerns, yes.
But from an environmental perspective, it's, I think it's, the only environmental loss is the loss of the carbon that's sequestered in them. Anyway. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, I planted one of those after my father died in my yard. So, but anyway, you're gonna need male and female?
They are, yes, we will have male and female,
Okay.
yes.
And the Rose of Sharon is coming out too?
The Rose of Sharon, I believe, is coming out as well, yes. That is a good question. I see it in this picture. It is not noted on the plan, but we are planting that whole entire area with the Ilex glabra and the perennials.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, actually, Bob, we are showing that Rose of Sharon. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That Rose of Sharon is, I think, included, that we're seeing in the front in our count of 5 coming out of that area.
Oh, there it is. It's right.
It's
Okay.
forward, yes.
That's what I thought I counted 4 trees.
Four-
and I-
yeah,
and I
so
was
we were
thinking maybe the
counting-
5th is back behind there somewhere, but there's the Rose of Sharon.
There's the Rose of Sharon,
Yep.
yes.
Yeah, so that's coming out too.
It is coming out as well, yes.
Thank you.
I have just a simple question. How are you going to water the, above ground
There'll be drip irrigation,
drip
temporary,
irrigation?
just
Is
to
this
get the
going to be
plant.
a mulch formal bed, or is it going to be a natural bed?
It's going to be a natural bed in that our goal will be, once the perennials get in and the grasses get in, it fills in over time.
Right.
There will be, initially be some mulch in the bed just to help hold down weeds and
Right.
keep water in.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Anything else? And I think we are ready for a vote for a, see if I get this right, a -3 determination, buffer zone.
I move that we approve the request for determination of applicability with a -3 determination for 236 Stage Neck Road.
Gordon second.
Roll call vote, Bob.
Well, I'm voting no. I don't know exactly how to vote no on, which way do I vote on an art, it's a,
We're approving a
Positive
negative
determin- I'm-
determination, so you would vote
for a
no.
positive, yeah, for, I'm voting no.
Okay, got it. Elise,
Do I vote no?
are you in favor? Are
I'm
you
in fav-
approving this?
I'm approving,
That's a yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cheryl, yes. Karen,
Yes.
Eric,
Yes, I'm approving.
and I vote yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Paul, you
only
can now
1:30.
read the next continuance.
Yes, the next one is, we moved on to notice of intents. This is a long legal ad. This one's
Yep.
been continued to May 2024. But here I go, 240 and 438 George Ryder Road, 1652 Main Street, Chatham Municipal Airport, maps 9. F 240 10G 438 8E, 1652 Main, parcels 0-2240 18K1 438 53-27, 1652 Main, SC number SC10 3658. The proposed project includes vegetation management required to remove obstructions within the navigable airspace in compliance with the Federal Aviation FAA regulations. Vernal Pool consultant decision and vote is pending. Performance standards and resource areas are pending, and variance requests are pending, and it will be continued to May 8, 2024.
All right, thank you. Motion to approve.
I move that we continue 240 and 438 George Ryder Road and 1652 Main Street to the meeting on May 8th, 2024.
Gordon second.
Roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, too. So that's to the 8th. All right, Paul, what's next?
Just for the record, that was a request from the applicant.
Okay.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is 21 Shattuck Lane, Clay A. Rosenberg and Andrea Lynn Flink, map 15C, parcel 12-6, SE10 3671. The project is a proposed house addition, pool replacement, landscape, and associated site improvements.
Okay.
afternoon. For the
Looks like we have-
record.
Yep, go ahead.
Sean Riley, Coastal Engineering, now Ty and Bond.
There you
Sean
go.
Papich is on the call with me as well. And I'm not sure if Ben Zender is on the call as well. There was some question last time about the permitting track of the swimming pool and whether or not it had actually gone through the correct path for permitting. And so we went down to the town hall and went through the records, met with the zoning enforcement officer, went through all the records and found that there was correspondence in there from Kristen Andres back in 2003, and that's what I'm sharing on the screen, for the work that was done in the pool patio. And she notes in the record that there is a coastal bank at the site. It's not shown in the records as being delineated, however, it appears to be outside. And the reason for that is that up until 2014, the flood maps, the flood elevation for this property was elevation 9, which is actually elevation 8 on today's datum on NEBD 88. So the associated coastal bank at that time, can everybody see my screen with the map?
Not yet, you're not sharing.
Okay, let me just share that real quick. Okay. How about now?
Yep,
Here we go.
So you can see the flood zone in 2014 and prior to 2014 was down at elevation 8. So the 100 feet buffer from that was actually outside of where the shed is located. So the shed's 110 feet of where that coastal bank would have been, and the pool is further away from that. So that is why you wouldn't see a permit in the file, as this work, if it were done that we were doing now, was in 2013, would be outside of that jurisdiction. And I think that correspondence was submitted to Paul as well. So just
Yep.
before we start with the rest of it, just wanted to see if there was any questions on that, that respect or that regard.
Right, and we did, included in that, we did see the original permit, building permit for the pool itself. 1966,
Correct.
yep, and then a 1991 spa permit, and deck, and then the 2003. So thank you for doing that research. That answers our questions about when and how these were constructed. Anybody else have questions or comments on the historic record? Okay.
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 So I've switched over to the actual proposed plan now, and where we're at. Can everybody see the proposed plan that shows where the existing red line fence is now and the green line fence of where we've pulled it back to? Make sure I'm sharing the right screen here.
Yep.
Okay. So essentially, after a couple of meetings with you, there was concern about where the fence would be located. So we've pulled the fence back and tucked it in close to the proposed reconstructed pool area. As you can see by what we're zoomed in on here, is the red is actually the part of the pool that exists now that we'll be taking out. The green is the small addition that we'll be adding outside of the footprint. There really wouldn't be any mitigation required as it's a reduction in coverage within the 50 to 100 foot buffer. We're bringing the fence back, and on which Sean reviewed with you last time, they've added quite a few supplemental plants along the area within the buffer zone, immediately adjacent to the shed. So I think with the question of the permit and with pulling the fence back and the addition of the plantings, I'll open it up to any other potential questions you may have.
All right, thank you. Can you just confirm for us, the plan you were just showing, we don't have that one?
You don't have it with all the colors on it. I just
No.
put those on there. I could submit that to you for the record. That was
Yes,
just to
please.
kind of, yes, absolutely.
So can you tell us offhand where we end up what the overall coverage reduction is?
Yes, that should be, I think it's, Sean, do you have that handy?
I don't have that actual number, whatever the difference between the green and the red there is all it is. So we'd have a
Yeah, I think
reduction.
Yeah, I think it was a couple hundred square feet.
252, does that sound right to you?
That sounds about right, correct. There it is, that's up.
Okay, so that's still the same?
Yes, it's 252.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
The amount of square footage of the plants that we're showing within the 50 to 100 is around 660 square feet. I know that we didn't have to put a number on that, but that's about where we are with those.
So since mitigation is technically not required, do you want us to refer to these plants and this plan as restoration or mitigation? It's not, it's really restoration of the buffer zone.
Yeah, you could, if we're not gonna bank it or not get credit for future projects, then we could just call it restoration.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. We don't do credits for future
Yep.
projects. Someday maybe, but we're not there yet. All right, open it up to questions from commission members, reactions.
Yeah, that mitigation, if it's not required on that bank, but next to that Japanese knotweed,
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you're just wasting your time, because you'd have to have a serious program for that Japanese knotweed. Otherwise, you're just throwing your money away planting the plants anyway.
Yeah, and if it's not going to be required, we don't have to actually do it.
They're gonna die anyway.
They're gonna have a battle, that's for sure.
That's just my thought. I mean,
Okay.
it's always nice to have mitigation plantings, but if they're just gonna die, because if you're not gonna take care of the Japanese knotweed, they're just gonna kill them all.
Is there anything,
Right.
is there any way I mean, it's steep, so a mow strip isn't necessarily going to work in that steep slope there. Is there any other
Yeah.
kind of thing that can be done to manage the knotweed from not moving into this?
Well, it will be wall there. There's some wall that will be in that location, so that will be a barrier to it.
Right. And I think if the knotweed, is more aggressive and starts to take over, that the homeowner may want to take that opportunity to come up with a more extensive plan to go after it all. Because if you don't go after it all, as was just stated, it's an ongoing battle for life with that. So
Comment.
really, you've got to go after everything.
The area that you disturb building the wall on the water side, what are you gonna do with the disturbed soil if you didn't plant? You'd have to, put jute netting down and maybe some
Yes.
natural
Correct.
seed or something? Get
Correct.
something growing before the knotweed take over? I just know that knotweed is just very aggressive unless you really have a big program for it.
Right.
Major commitment.
Yeah, we could blanket and seed that slope. Any of those exposed slopes can be blanketed and seeded.
I suggest you keep the restoration, and that'll be motivation to take care of the knotweed.
Right, if you invest in what you're proposing here in creating that area, then that is motivation to.
Because in 3 years, you have to show that the restoration survived.
I agree.
Okay. I think we
I think
we are ready to go ahead and schedule this for an order of conditions. Is there anything else we're waiting for? I don't think so. That was the last of it.
So probably can do it for next week.
Yep.
I move that we continue 21 Shattuck Lane to the meeting on May 1st, 2024 for an order of conditions.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, too. We'll see you back here next week for an order of conditions.
Very good. We'll get that plan over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye now.
Bye. All right, Paul,
All right.
what's next?
Next on the agenda is a notice of intent, 55 Linnell Lane, Pamela P. Kindler, map 16I, parcel 1A-R2, DEP number SE 103664. The project is proposed swimming pool and patios, alteration of an existing septic system, minor location change for an existing shed.
Hello, I'm Lauren Cronin. I'm the landscape architect with Gregory Lombardi Design, and Bob Perry with me.
Okay.
So when we were here last on April 3rd, I think you had asked for a few relatively minor revisions to the plans. We've made those and resubmitted the plans to you. We updated the language on the proposed mitigation planting plan to specify that all invasive and non-native plants would be taken out of the area to be cleared and replanted. And we added a note about that there would be temporary irrigation installed in these areas and that the existing irrigation system would remain in its, whatever portions of the property are undisturbed. And we also quantified the mitigation planting area for you, which is 4,280 square feet. So you have that information on the plans. That's all I changed.
Okay.
I had a few things to do myself, and I'll bring you up to date on that. One of the things that was part of the application is the checklist table, and we were requested to update that. So we've submitted that chart, and in it, we reflect a 159 square foot reduction. After going through Lauren's plans and then looking at the updated mitigation, we changed the chart to include the 4,280 square feet of mitigation. So we had a 518 square foot net change instead of the 600 and some odd. Then the second thing had to do with the shed, plural. And I will say that the aerial photography was somewhat revealing. I have not done an exhaustive search on the third shed, which is the one near the driveway. That appears to have come into being, I think, sometime between the late 70s and the early 1990s, because it doesn't appear on the 1952 or the 1971 aerial. The small shed near the driveway is there. What I want to clarify is in 1952, the shed that we're working on is actually there. And that caused me to look after that a little bit more. And so I just wanted to clarify something, that given the age of it and the substructure, in our notice of intent, we basically said that, well, it's going to be put on posts. And it's not appropriate. I think it's appropriate for me to clarify for you that it's basically a simple foundation because it's a shed, but it's continuous. And so it's not appropriate to take that shed as it is with its age and just put it on a post foundation. So there's a clarification that I wanted to make, that in looking after those sheds, that was a recommendation that I'm making to the builder. So that is the sheds. The third shed by the driveway, the larger shed that's at the end of the driveway, I haven't found a permit for that, but it's 30 or more years old. And I just want to also say that all sheds, as they are now, were present when the Kindlers purchased the property. But we can still look for we can scour the building department records. We haven't done that.
Well, we see that it was in existence in 2002.
Yes.
And the land subject to coastal storm flowage bylaw came into effect in 2013.
Right. The
So it
maps
predates
changed.
that.
Right. So it seems safe from our point of view.
Yeah. Okay, I'm looking at all these changes that you're just running through. Let me open it up to questions from members.
The only question I have is behind the little shed, there's some lumber and an old bridge, maybe, if those could be removed.
Yeah, the area is going to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Bob, that small shed by the entrance of the driveway, to the right of the driveway, you say it's anchored down?
Well, the applicant indicated to me that it has never moved with all of the storm action. If it's not, it can be, and I have not confirmed that it is anchored. It shows up on the 1952 photo as well.
It's safe to say that it's on the coastal bank, though, correct?
No, it's kind of in that flood zone plateau at the elevation of the driveway, at the elevation of Linnell Lane. It's gotten wet before.
Okay. So you don't think it's a hazard the way it is now?
I don't think it's been shown to be a hazard. There's enough work going on here that I think that shed could be easily anchored if it's not. And
Okay.
if you want us to look into that, we'd be happy to do it.
I'd like you to look into it myself. But
Would that be like an administrative thing? I could consult with Paul that we're going to screw some helical anchors and strap the building down if it's not anchored. And I would approach it that way.
Just make
Okay.
it part of the order.
We can just put it into the order that way, that you'll
That's
go
fine.
through that process, yes. Okay. Other questions or comments? All right, then I think this is ready for scheduling for an order, and we might as well do this next week.
I move that we continue 55 Linnell Lane to the meeting on May 1st, 2024 for an order of conditions.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye.
Okay,
See you next week for an order.
thank you very much.
Thank you very much, thank you. All right, Paul?
Okay, Madam Chair, next on the agenda is that continued item, 70 Meadow View Road South, Kyle and Patricia Lissack, map 10D, parcel 16-S15, DEP number SE10 3668. Project is proposed addition, proposed attached garage, and proposed deck reconstruction, including mitigation. The applicant's requested continuance to May 8th.
Okay.
I move that we continue 70 Meadowview Road South to the meeting on May 8th, 2024.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote. Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So that's approved. Why is Word not? All right, Paul, why don't you take us to what's next, because I'm having a
Well, the
frozen
last item
screen
on the
problem.
agenda for, last notice of intent before we get to minutes and closing out is 486 Shore Road, 486 Shore Road LLC, map 16F, parcel A7, SE number 103678 is the number that's been assigned recently. The project is elevated stairs to a beach over a coastal bank. And I believe Susan's here to answer questions.
And we have people in the room as well, so. I will
Hi, good
turn it-
afternoon. Bill Riley on behalf of 46 Shore Road LLC.
Teresa Sprague with Blue Flex Design, also here on behalf of the Murphy Lynn family.
And Susan Ledoux from Eastward Companies. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Who's going to lead off?
Paul pointed out, and I apologize for having missed it, that the stairs extend out past the toe of the bank onto the beach. And that's really a product of failure to educate. We have a new engineering firm we're using, Strongfellow Engineering, and so we didn't tell them our usual protocols, which would be, it ends at the bottom of the hill, and the bottom section of the stairs has to be either removable or capable of being lifted out of the way to avoid damage during winter gales or hurricanes,
Yeah, well, yeah.
you know.
Okay, so that's going to be pulled back to the toe of the bank there?
Right, we'll submit a modification of, either modification of the plan or a sketch plan detailing how we're gonna, how we're gonna either have a removable section or a section we can fold up.
Or, well, or both, because
Or both.
the section that extends onto the beach extends across a very flat beach area, so it's unnecessary and intrusive. So I think what we'd like to see is that piece removed, and then
We'll have the stairs end
at the toe of the bank.
at the toe of the bank.
Right, okay. And I don't, at that point, and that may or may not have a removable seasonal element to it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But as long as it's not extending onto the beach.
Yeah, it's not a high wave environment because of the Turn Island, forming a protective barrier there, but
So far.
so far. But anyway, something we'll discuss with the engineers
Okay,
when they modify the plan.
okay. Okay. Just for the context for everybody, just to review, because this property has been, this is the third or fourth, I'm losing track, notice of intent that it's gone through.
No, it's a second.
Well, did this property originally have a previously existing fiber roll array that was washed out?
Not that
Is this
I'm
the
aware
one?
of.
No, it's the other one next door, okay. So this is just the 2019 Coastal
It is.
Bank project so this is to be the third. In 2019, the Coastal Bank, the fiber roll installation was done in conjunction with 498 Shore that extended onto the northern part of this.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so, yeah,
And that was closed out, I think an order of, a certificate of compliance was issued. And then you
it's just,
applied,
we weren't involved with that. That was
Okay.
a prior owner.
okay,
Yes.
yeah, I know, right, it was, I remember. So, but then there's last year's order for the demolition of the house and the pool and the construction of the new house and the pool, which was involved in mitigation and restoration of the top half of the bank.
Correct.
And now this is a new NOI for the stairs, and the mitigation is the restoration of the bottom half of the bank.
Yes.
So I guess my question is, why is this two separate NOIs as opposed to an amendment when the mitigation and restoration is so closely connected?
Well, we thought it was a good idea. That's about it. I mean, it was just, we didn't really, because the principal focus of the prior order had to do with the house.
Right.
And we tend to think of amendments as being related to the prior order, and this seemed like really a separate concept. So that was how we ended up with a separate order.
But what I really would like to see is the two mitigation restoration plans in a single plan, because that work will all be done at one time, right?
Well, we've already started the invasive species management for the open order of conditions that's currently existing for the house reconstruction. So if you've been out to the site, that actually allowed us open that area up because before it was inaccessible. So we've started the invasive species removal. That area's been seeded, stabilized, blanketed, and that allowed for the staking of the stairs for the new proposal. And really allowed us access to the bank that we had not had previously, even to the point where we designed what you're seeing in front of you right now, because there's a significant amount of native vegetation that we had not mapped that's still intact on the coastal bank and will remain intact. We're showing in a darker green area, an area of beach plum and bayberry that we are, and again, it was an area approximate based on the assessment that we could do at the time without access to the bank. There's actually quite a bit of scrub oak and cherry on the bank that's healthy and intact that will remain. So there's quite a bit more native vegetation than we had initially thought. We are still proposing to do invasive species management selectively and restoration of the shrub layer, as well as the serviceberry, and add some additional scrub oaks onto the slope. But I think that by us undertaking that first portion of the invasive species management really opened up an opportunity for us to get down and do a better assessment of the conditions of the bank itself.
But in direct response to your question, putting all the mitigation work on a single plan, I think is.
100%, yes. I just wanted to make sure the commission was aware that we have already undertaken the initial phase of the
Right.
invasive species management. And that's what you're seeing on the screen.
Okay, that's what, yeah, so I'm
That's
gonna
the
let.
blanketing, yes, exactly, and the removal of the white poplar.
Okay. Go ahead, Bob.
To go-
Yes, Bob has questions.
Just because it's my picture. So Terry said, I was taken aback. I don't know if this is what, I think looking back at the original plan, there was 9 trees coming out.
There was no count on the trees coming out. The white poplar were pretty extensive throughout that area, as well as the invasive shrub honeysuckle and bittersweet. So of course, you're looking at this, it's been entirely seeded, and then that whole area will be restored. I think that's the plan that we don't have in front of, or you don't have in front of you right now. But there will be, without a doubt, a connection in the restoration so that the entire 50-foot buffer, top of coastal bank, and then the coastal bank itself will be restored all as one piece once this work is completed.
I grasp that part. My notes say from the previous NOI that there will be 9 trees coming out. And so when I looked at this looked like clear cutting.
My memory is, we talked in general terms about removing all the white poplars.
We did, and I'm looking at the plan right now, and we had restoration of 7,400 square feet, which included removal of lawn and the removal of invasive species that you're seeing in that area that's been blanketed. And there is that we're planting back 14 trees as part of the initial approved plan, but there's no count of trees to be removed. We were showing what we could locate with X's on the plan, and those were actually the native trees that were in poor condition. If you recall, there were a number of spruce trees that had been planted. We did not count the poplars. A, we didn't have access over the fence, and B, we just didn't have a count on those. So the X's that you're looking at on the plan include pitch pine and spruce trees that were coming out.
All right, well, it was a misunderstanding, to say the least.
So all of the stumps that were shown in that photograph are either woody shrubs or white poplar?
Correct, yes,
They are
yes.
all
It was thick with white poplar, yes. There are, again, in the areas where we're showing the X's, those were some spruce trees that were in really poor condition. Up on the north side of the house, there was a pitch pine that was broken and in very poor condition. But all we've removed are the trees that were approved for removal, as well as the invasive white poplar trees at the top of the bank.
And is that because the extent and the density of the invasives was such that they could not be identified individually? And
We
so-
couldn't get over the fence. It was so thick. There was a chain link fence across that area, if you recall, and
remember
it was so thick with vine and the trees that we couldn't get over the fence until the fence was removed and we were actually able to get in there and do the work. But again, I want to remind the commission that we are planting back 14 trees in this area, so we're not leaving this. I know this, when we do the initial work and we're blanketed and it looks very bare, it's a little bit scary looking. But I think you've seen from previous projects that we've done, that this is very quickly regenerates and is restored.
So I guess with the lower part, it'll similarly be clear cut.
No, because there's a lot more native vegetation, as we find often in areas of disturbance, so where the chain link fence was constructed and where they had been planting trees in the past. I don't know when the white poplars showed up. Maybe they were planted on purpose at some point, just like most of the invasive vegetation that we have is planted. I don't know, but as we get further down the bank, and if you were able to walk down a little ways, it's actually a really great native plant community. There's certainly room for us to plant what we're proposing to plant in there to create a more dense planting. But we don't have quite the level of invasion that we had at the top of the bank. I think we estimated at the time approximately 40% on the coastal bank itself. I think that number's even lower. I think it's closer to 25-30% invasive on the bank.
In the lower section down
In
here.
the section that we're looking at right now with the,
Right.
for the bank restoration.
Right, and then there's a section that's where the fiber rolls were installed that has,
So there is a low stone revetment at the toe of this bank, in that area to the south. I believe the fiber rolls only extend a short way into the northern portion of this property. And there's no significant scarping. We know that the bank is still acting as a sediment source, even though it's revetted, it's a low revetment. It is still feeding the beach. And that's something David Clark and I had talked about quite extensively when we did the original application. And we both agree that it is acting as a sediment source, and we'd like it to continue to act as a sediment source to the beach.
okay. Are the stairs, I think when I was there, it seemed to me that the stairs are crossing where the fiber rolls are.
They may well be, and that's
So
certainly,
is there
there's no
particular,
issue.
are there any particular measures that need to be taken so that they're not damaged in some way with the installation of the support structure for the stairs?
Yes, I think we're going to have to be careful of the fiber rolls when the stairs are installed, but stairs are certainly installed over fiber roll arrays all the time, and it has no negative impact.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So, and they are planted with, that area is planted with beach grass. Is that just going to stay the way it is?
The beach
You're
grass
not-
will stay the way it is, and we're actually proposing to plant an additional 1,800 bare root beach grass plugs in the lower portion of the bank.
Okay. The lower portion meaning the light green below the dark green, is that?
Yeah, so we can see, actually, it's just off, there's an area that says to be seeded, and we're using a tall grass mix on the bank here. Again, bank stability is really important to us on this site.
It's very steep.
And so we're using what we call a tall grass species mix with switchgrass, big blue stem, Indian grass. These are taller grasses with very deep and aggressive root systems that really do an excellent job of stabilizing the slope. And then the beach grass will be planted in the area. It's sort of showing in that olive drab green, a little bit lower on the bank. There's also quite a bit of rugosa rose in that area, but we are not proposing to remove the rugosa rose. We're planning to work and plant in and around it.
Okay. Questions?
Yeah, question on the poplars. How do you prevent them from coming back?
We did treat them with a systemic herbicide, so we cut the stumps and then wiped on a systemic herbicide.
Oh, did you? Yeah.
Yep.
Geez, I just wish I had stock in jute netting. But the, how do the beach plum work on steep banks? I mean,
Yep, again, we're proposing to plant them at a smaller size, so at the 3-gallon size. And there's beach plum existing on this bank, so we're really just supplementing it.
yeah.
And so when, obviously on a steep slope, when we're planting, we create a small shelf, plant the beach plum into that, and then let its
Yeah.
roots get established and grow in.
Because I noticed in the neighbor, none of them really took.
Yeah, you know, that bank was completely, in order for that fiber roll array to be installed, there's quite a bit of excavation that happens, and that's not happening here. So we have a good topsoil layer and a good duff layer from leaves falling. Of course, we also have a seed bank of some of the invasive vegetation, and that's why we do the
Yeah, they'll
follow-up
like that,
management.
yeah.
But we're not disturbing the soils here, which is most important. That's why you see all those stumps sticking out of the ground, because our goal is to not disturb the soil in any way, but let the stumps biodegrade.
Thanks.
I have one.
Go ahead.
Teresa, you say that there are 10, in the plan notes, there are 10 native trees in
Yes.
varying size, and your little list only has 6.
So I believe that the person who wrote that plan note was counting the Corylus americana, the hazelnut, as a tree. We generally count it as a shrub, so it's listed as a shrub. It can be considered a small tree or a large shrub. I would call it a shrub, so we can correct that in the plan note.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? Bob?
Do you know how many trees will be taken out here?
You know what, we can absolutely get you that number, because we now have access to the bank. I was down on the bank to look at the area, to see if it was accessible for staking. So that was a few weeks ago. And I was pleasantly surprised to find more native oak and cherries than I expected. Far fewer invasive, and all of the native plant trees will stay. So I can get you a count of both, actually. We can flag everything that's going to stay in green and anything that's proposed to be removed in orange or yellow.
That would be really helpful.
Okay, yes.
And just remind me, how many trees, if any, are you planting?
So we're proposing to plant on this, so in the original, we're planting 14 trees.
Okay.
On this area here, where we're proposing to plant 2 amelanchier and 4 scrub oak, as well as the American hazelnut, which was being counted as a tree, but I consider a shrub.
Right. Well, if you consider it a shrub, so do I.
It's a large shrub, and in a site like this, it will grow prolifically,
Just,
but, yeah.
You know how I feel about trees that should be called shrubs like shadbush, but
Well, I would say that
I know.
amelanchier is a
We don't-
tree.
we don't need to
But I
get into-
will say Corylus americana is a shrub.
okay, good. So when you get in there and look, then the number of trees that you would add might change?
We can still add the trees that we're proposing to add. I am absolutely confident that we can plant the shrubs. I like the idea of planting this area densely. When you walk down there right now, there's room to walk around. We'd like to fill that room to walk around with shrubs. So that's the goal. We really want to keep this bank stable, and the property owners really want to keep this bank stable.
keeping in mind that trees removed on the coastal bank get mitigated at a higher ratio.
Yes, and we'll get that invasive tree count for you. I don't think, I honestly think that we got the white poplars at the top of the coastal bank with the first round.
Okay, so,
Of management.
so we'll get a revised.
Yes,
Thank you.
and with a count.
Okay.
Okay. Elise, Cheryl?
I just want to say, I've only seen this property from the ocean, from at the bottom of it, and I was really impressed with what was already there.
Yes.
So I'm really glad to hear that you're not really disturbing it and that you're just letting it maintain what it's already done on its own. But because it is really nice, what has survived there.
Yeah, the beach plum and the bayberry is in really good shape on this site. And like I
Yeah.
said, I was pleasantly surprised to find as we get a little closer to the top, in that midsection towards the bottom of the bank is mainly shrub plant community. It's the beach plum, bayberry, and then the rugosa rose down near the toe at the revetment. It was that area at the top, towards the top of the bank, that we just couldn't access previously.
Gotcha.
So I was pleased to find as many oak and cherry trees as we did up there.
Well, and looking from the bottom, there's some trees that look like they're just about to fall over the edge. Are those going to be stabilized, or are they going to be some of the ones that leave? Or-
I will do a better assessment of that. My recommendation would be to leave them.
Okay.
I don't think that, I didn't see when I was down there 3 weeks
Yeah.
ago, any tree that
There's
looked
like a
to
little bit of
me-
a ledge near a couple of them. I'm curious what you do with that.
Yep, so I think we can come back with a more detailed assessment, and if there's any that I see, the only reason that we would propose to cut it might be to flush cut it, not to treat it with herbicide, if there's any chance of it falling over and pulling about a large chunk of
Okay.
bank with it.
Thank you.
Bob, go ahead.
When the stairs are built, will there be any vegetation planted underneath the stairs?
So we were gonna seed the area underneath the stairs. We weren't proposing any shrubs to be planted underneath the stairs, but we are using that tall grass and wildflower mix, so that would be stabilizing underneath the stairs.
Shade tolerant enough that it would,
I think it is, yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and the plants that are gonna be remaining, the trees and so forth on the coastal bank, they won't be pruned in the future?
I don't think
For a
there's-
view or anything like that?
No, I think they're naturally wind sheared, they're low, I mean, it is a pretty exposed site. So no, I don't believe there's any need for that.
Okay. Because the property to the left, that's what they've been doing, it looked like, from when I was out there. But,
Yeah, so I think that in this particular site, the previous property owners, and I think I've mentioned this before, they were planting up all of those spruce trees which had been given to them as gifts. And they were really valuing their privacy to the point where most people want more of an open view.
yeah,
But I think that the existing, so they had never pruned anything. And then those spruce trees were in really poor condition. And then I think with the removal of the spruce trees with the white poplar and the elevation of the house, I think the views are
yeah,
frankly phenomenal, yeah.
okay. And you'll be planting low enough plants towards the top?
Towards the top of the bank, yes, because we do not want anybody going in and cutting in the future. That's the goal, is to plant it back and allow it to naturalize.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody online with any questions, comments? So what I have here is to come back with a plan that reduces the stair, the bottom of the stair from the beach. Try to combine the two restoration plans so we can see
Yes.
the entire property and the bank. Inventory, the trees that were removed at the top of the bank, the invasive. And assess the condition of the existing trees and decide whether anything's going to change there.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Then, do you want to aim for,
Well, we'll try,
With the 8th?
we'll try to get the plan filed as soon as possible.
okay. We can put it on for the 8th? When do you have ZBA?
30th of May.
Yep, May 30th, yeah.
May 30th.
My birthday, we're gonna have a party.
Okay, and ZBA will say, just because it's your birthday, we're gonna do what you want. No, what we can do is gather on the 8th, review these last pieces, and then we'll hold until after
Great.
they've had their hearing. So we'll take a motion to continue to the 8th.
I move that we continue 486 Shore Road to the meeting on May 8th, 2024.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so we'll see
Thank
you
you.
back
Thank you
here
very
on the
much.
8th. Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Okay, so my copy cut off at this point,
Minutes.
and my Word is frozen, so I can't pull up any other Word documents because it's unresponsive. So what do we have?
Minutes.
Okay, somebody else, at least, can you take it?
Take it away.
Because I don't
Well-
have, I can't edit anything. Oh, and Herring Run, yep. All right, Paul, what do we have? We have minutes?
Yeah, you have last couple items, minutes to be approved March 13th, 2024, and then a vote on the Herring Run plan. There's no unforeseen business, so you can adjourn after that.
Right, we're gonna make some guys in the booth very happy.
Yeah.
All right, does anyone have comments, questions, other further changes than what has already been shown on the minutes?
No. Anybody?
No? I made my changes before, so, okay, can you accept all changes and stop tracking? And Crystal will have all 4 Word documents ready for release, so I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I move that we approve the minutes from March 13th, 2024.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob?
Aye.
Elise?
Aye.
Cheryl?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
And I vote aye, so they're approved. And then the last is the Herring Run. We had told them we didn't need them to come back. They have asked us to approve their overall management plan that we reviewed, I don't know, about a month ago or so. So I'll just take a motion to do that. Let's approve that plan so they can move ahead with that project.
I move that we approve the Herring Run plan.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob.
Aye.
Elise.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Karen.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
And I vote aye, so that is done and approved. That's the end of our agenda. Were you waiting for, or are you early for the next meeting?
I'm just observing.
Oh, okay.
Brian Phillips, I'm running for select board, so.
Oh,
Ah,
aha.
well, welcome, hello. Okay, anything else, Paul?
No, that's it.
All right, motion to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Gordon, second.
Roll call vote, Bob.
Aye.
Elise.
Aye.
Cheryl.
Aye.
Karen.
Aye.
Eric.
Aye.
Bob.
Aye.
To vote on that?
Thank you.
And I vote aye. That's a wrap. We're adjourned. Thank you.
What would have
Thanks, everyone.
happened if everybody said no?
I know, we can, we're